Tomokazu Komiya, the artworks are exploding for this artist in the Pokemon TCG. Let's talk about it. Now, you're probably familiar with the Drowzee from Scarlet and Violet base and how fast and crazy this price has gone. Just looking at it here in the past 3 months, it was a $14 card 3 months ago, and now we're looking at a $65 card. It even peaked at $78. Really, really wild stuff. But you start looking at that trend from a year ago, and it was even cheaper before that. $5.84, $6, somewhere in there. Yeah, $5, $6 all day for a long time. Then we shot up a little bit back in July of 2024, kind of off of the heels of the alt art boom that went on in May. And then people went to the next step down and the next step down and trying to do that. So there was this trailing wave by rarity and by availability of certain cards that spiked a little bit. But that $12 is nothing to what we're seeing today. And we had a big spike up right before Prismatic came out at $35, and then it just popped off. Just popped off at almost $70 right now as a current value. I could see why. It's a really cool artwork. And for those of you who are thinking like, oh my goodness, why would this go crazy? You know, what about the Magikarp out of Pete Evolved? That Magikarp exploded. Nobody's really batting an eye at that. They're like, yeah, it's kind of worth it because it's cool. Well, this is starting to fall into that camp because it's so different, so interesting. You have a lot of great elements. I'm sure I talked about Scarlet and Violet base before, and I'm pretty sure this one came up, but maybe it didn't. I don't know. There's so much geometry, very easy. You have this really obscure version of lighting. However, it's emphasizing that lighting, this light coming behind these long shadows. There's a ton of mystery in the expressions of these different individuals here. Some look happy, some look scared. Like, why do we have such ridiculously different expressions going on in these characters, which are, you know, definitely a little bit more rudimentary in their presentation? You have this fair in the background, I don't know, some sort of city lights going on, this spotlight of some lazy Drowzee hanging over the bench. There's just so many weird things that just continually contrast between storyline of casual and relaxed and screaming and freaking out. I don't know, like, why is this happening all in the same scene? And you follow the warmer tones here, the reds, the oranges, the yellows kind of sweeping through and then coming back across. Your eye just creates a natural S curve around it. The coldness here in that green and blue kind of peeking through a little bit, and then it starts to dabble and trickle through a little bit on the Drowzee and in the shadows, just a tiny bit over here, like just kind of sprinkled out throughout there. A lot of interesting stuff compositionally speaking. Your rule of thirds line is going to be, if you break it into thirds here, you have almost at the top horizon. It's actually sitting right here, but it's just underneath. And on that right thirds line there for Drowzee. So very interesting there. If you want to go further and take a look at all the artworks from Tomokazu, you have this link down below for you to take a look at every single one from every single set. And it shows you the exact Pokemon and the artwork. And it's really interesting just to kind of scroll through and take a minute, because you start to see the evolution of the cards. It's actually in reverse order. But if you go the other way, you start seeing the evolution. I'll scroll down. You see the evolution of the artworks and how there's certain themes that kind of match up and it seems to fit, and then you see the artist change, and that could be anything. It could be a stylistic change, it could be a life change that's being thrown into the artwork, because as an artist, many take what they have from their exterior and put it into their artwork, whether it might be a little bit more emotional, a little bit more aggression, a little bit more depth in the, you know, dark is dark and bright is bright, and these mood swings are happening. I am not saying anything about the specific artist. However, just knowing how artists operate and being one myself, this stuff comes up and you start pouring that into your work. Whether that's the case here or not, I can't be 100% sure. Nobody's in anybody else's head, but you can kind of infer that that is probably a potential through the growth and the progression of the different artworks over time. And it's really interesting to kind of take a look at that. Someone in the Poketuber universe you probably all know of is going to be RealBreakingNate. Now, he did a little reveal of his binder from Tomokazu artworks only. I'm sure he kept up the collection of just every single one, but it's an interesting video for sure, and he does an opening and all that stuff because he likes to open stuff for you, and it's an interesting quick overview of his binder up until that point, and this one was like over a year ago already, so he probably needs a more updated one, especially with the recent hype around it. Interesting for sure, but you can actually, I should have gone this way, you can actually search by just clicking on the artist's name, and it'll bring you over to the different artworks that they have done. If you want to take a look at what's available, what kind of price point they're at, if anything catches your eye, maybe you like a certain Pokemon like an Eevee or a Snorlax, and it's worth it for you to be going that route at this point in time. So you kind of find an affinity for that artist and their artworks. This video looks pretty cool. There's tons of them, 17 pages. There's a lot of different things. So definitely worth a look. And when you go high to low here, that Drowzee is getting pretty close to the top there, 4th spot overall. The Gengar Master Ball out of, what is this going to be, Prismatic Evolutions, I guess? Or is this going, oh, sorry, 151. This is out of 151, the Gengar Master Ball. So, all right, cool. Then that's got to be the Gengar also, and Reverse Hollow. The Master Ball is not separate from it. So the Gengar out of 151, but the Master Ball being the high point price there. I wonder if this has to, out of 151, it's got to be Japanese. Sorry, the wheels are spinning, but not a lot's happening up there. My bad. So a little slow today. Let's slow it down a little bit further to something I actually understand. And that's going to be to this, the giveaway I'm doing, looking to grow the channel to 5,000 subscribers. We're giving away a Brilliant Stars ETB along with 5 Pokemon mystery card lots to 6 winners overall once we reach that threshold of 5,000 subscribers. So you know what to do. You go ahead and you take those few little steps that we require everywhere for all these giveaways. Yay. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, your comment on today's video could be what gets you the win on Friday when I'm doing my I Got It, You Get It giveaways every single Friday as a result of my shorts that I do. And if you're not familiar with that series, I highly encourage you to go check that out because they're a ton of fun, if not the music at least, right? So be a part of the channel and do that, but be specific in your comments also and go to this video here where you need to leave an additional comment to be officially entered for the 5,000 subscriber giveaway. For everybody who's been a part of the channel this far, I really appreciate it. And I post 7 days a week. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.